Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at weather. Let's take 14 days for today's video. Day 10 will take us to the 21st of February. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe we'll try in a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets us into the early part of March. I should get on back for you in a moment. Just to say that first, video says our 6 AM UK weather forecast. I've also released the EC 30 extended European outlook. So check out those two bits if you'd like to do that. Like, share, and subscribe on all today's videos and content. And thank you so much everyone for doing that. For GavsWeatherVids, thank you so much everyone. Need to put on, now this is accurate. I've been giving you false information. Fake news over the recent days. We need to put on 60 subscribers, well 59, to get ourselves to 19.6k. Now if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. So much everyone. Right, okay, so latest wind from back from Earth from northschool.net shows that east winds are still in with us today, and again, the wind is coming in from Eastern Europe, actually from Russia, really. But it remains a relatively mild easterly wind, certainly for a midwinter easterly. It's not packing much of a punch. We've got low pressure out in the Atlantic being blocked by this big area of high pressure up to the northeast. Next week, could see these areas of low pressure pushing through, but for the time being, it's going to be the blocking area of high pressure to the north and the east that will continue to hold sway. So, sorry everyone. Central temperature is now sitting at 4.5, that is 0.7 of a degree above the 61 to 1990 average, and it's provisional to yesterday, to the 10th of February. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Looking at Warwick today. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Warwick, starting off below average at the moment. We're going to see the upper air temperature ticking up a little bit through the second half of this week, and then ticking back down again through the weekend and into next week. Overall, it's going to be pretty cold on the surface, I think, especially at the weekend into the opening of next week, as we draw the air up from off the continent. Now, later next week, we find the upper air temperatures starting to lift up and becoming more unsettled as well. So a lot of dry weather to come in the next week, but sort of the middle of next week onwards, looking a lot more unsettled through to month's end. So it looks like there's a change on the way here next week to something milder, wetter, and also windier. And we might start actually to get a little taste of spring going, maybe, through the closing days of February. Sorry again, everyone. Temperature anomalies, not spring for the time being, but temperature anomalies for the next 5 days, up to Sunday, 16th February, coming out colder than average with the GFS ensembles in the 6 to 10 day time frame, remaining cold as well. That gets us to the 21st of February. But if we have a look at the 11 to 15 day temperature anomaly, then it starts to look quite a bit milder through the west of Europe. So we're going to be cold for the next week anyway, and then maybe something a little bit milder coming up after that. Where you go, there you go. Okay, precipitation anomalies. Sorry about that. Well, precipitation anomalies for the next 7 days are still coming out drier than average as well. But if you look at the 10 to 16 day precipitation anomaly, then it started to look a bit wetter to the south and the west. Right, okay, let's start going through chart data then. This is our latest UK Met Euro run, looking for midnight on Friday. High pressure blocking to the north and the northeast, low pressure out in the Atlantic, and we're bringing in quite a cold easterly or southeasterly flow. Into the weekend, I think we'll probably keep it quite cold, actually. The wind is coming up from the south, but the air is off the continent. So I think the weekend can be quite a cold weekend, especially more eastern regions, with the risk of some snow, but with the risk of some frost, I should say, not snow. And then we go through into next week, though, and we start to drag up this milder southerly southwesterly flow. So that would start to bring up milder air from the south through the early part of next week. I'll also have outbreaks of rain starting to head in from off the Atlantic. Icon again looking mostly dry but quite cold for the weekend anyway, with winds in from a southeasterly direction off that frozen continent. That lasting just into the opening of next week, but by next Tuesday we actually start to drag up a much milder southerly front. Look at the upper air temperature suggesting maybe a little bit of a taste of spring there for Western Europe. Meanwhile, the cold air is plunging southwards across the eastern side of Europe, turning very cold through the Balkans, Romania towards the Black Sea, and the cold air even going down in towards Greece and Turkey as well. Yes, we might see snow on the streets of Athens, and I know that drives people in the UK, you know, and Ireland, absolutely crazy when that happens, but it does happen more often than you might think. So very cold across Eastern Europe, but a taste of spring later next week across Western Europe there with Icon. The KMA also looking mostly dry but cold and frosty into the weekend. Winds remaining from that southeasterly direction coming off the cold continent right way through into the early part of next week. Actually, it's not until about the middle of next week that the Atlantic finally starts to break through and shift the wind around to a milder southerly. So Monday, Tuesday next week with the KMA looking quite cold, but eventually the Atlantic does break through and off we go into wet windy spell. Though notice again, I'm trying to get high pressure going over Scandinavia actually by 31st of February. So there we go again. Another attempt at a Scandinavian high, and we'll have to wait and see whether that one was any more successful or colder than the current one. Well, this time a GFS midnight run is looking. Again, we've got high pressure blocking to the north of the northeast. Winds coming in from off the continent through the weekend and into the start of next week. I guess it's next Monday. Southeasterly winds and cold air from the continent. So the beginning of next week is looking cold and mostly dry and frosty. Could be a little bit of rain and snow, I guess, out in the far west. Middle of next week sees a change. Low pressure breaks through and starts to bring wetter and windier, but also milder air from off the Atlantic. That's set up just beyond day 10, 22nd of February. Mild, wet and windy, and those mild conditions carry on then for a few more days. But notice again, the GFS midnight run also building up pressure through Scandinavia, back to western Russia, and so off we go again into a Scandinavian / Siberian high type scenario, sending the jet stream southwards and trying to bring the wind in from the east again. There is a cold pool but sitting over Germany there, ready to flood in across Western Europe on the 27th of February. That's virtually towards month's end. Could we have a very cold end to February? I don't know, do you? we keep getting these hints, don't we? We've been rolled out, but this how GFS 6 then is looking. So again, blocking to the north of the northeast on Friday, keeping it mostly dry and cold through the weekend into the start of next week. I think it will be really quite a cold weekend with some harsh overnight frost. By next Tuesday, just starting to bring up something a little bit less cold from the south perhaps, but it's really Wednesday next week that the GFS 6 said also breaks through that area of low pressure and turns things wet and windy through the second half of next week. And then we extend here low pressure, bring further bouts of rain as we get towards month's end. Again, there is a bit of a suggestion high pressure to be lurking around western Russia and into Baltic portions of the Nordic regions. So, again, maybe, we will get into a proper cold Scandinavian high at some point, either at the end of February or into the start of March. Well, if you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share and subscribe. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to everyone for doing that. 59 subscribers are going to get us to 19.6k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. So much. Love it. So much. Okay, GM. Again, high pressure. Standing its ground. Blocking to the north and the northeast on Friday. Into the weekend, wind coming from a southeasterly direction. Upper air temperature probably won't be too bad. Could be quite mild. On the surface, I think it will be cold with increasing frost potential through the weekend. Into the start of next week, we keep wind coming in that southeasterly direction. So I reckon Monday and Tuesday could still be quite cold there. By Wednesday, maybe slightly milder as low pressure starts to come in from off the Atlantic. That's the day 10 chart for 21st of February. Low pressure in the Atlantic. Is there still a bit of a suggestion for some high pressure over Scandinavia? And then we've got the ECM with high pressure to our north and northeast on Friday, blocking things out, continuing to block things out through the weekend and into the start of next week as well. We're pulling in those southeasterly winds off the cold continent. They're looking frosty and wintry. By around the middle next week, I think we start to turn things a little bit milder as low pressure starts edging in from off the Atlantic just beyond day 10, looking more unsettled with wet, windy weather beginning to pile in from the west, and that takes into the extending of the ECM, which does look quite unsettled. There is some sort of high lurking around western Russia, but not particularly strong. This is a precipitation forecast based on the ECM run on meteo.com. So there will be some rain coming into the west at the end of this week, actually, but that won't amount to much. It will be pushed back out into the Atlantic by those southeasterly winds. And so mostly dry for the next week, anyway. And even beyond that, not much in the way of precipitation all the way up to day 10. Remember, some of the other models are a little bit more unsettled than that in the day sort of 8, 9, 10 time frame. These are the options on the table for the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office gets us to 21st of February. 19 members of the ECM ensembles including control and the operation run with low pressure beginning to break through as high pressure blocking goes over towards the Canadian side of Greenland. That's starting to turn more unsettled at day 10. 16. Keeping it cold with high pressure around Greenland and Iceland, low pressure out in the Atlantic, and that would, I think, still be bringing the wind from generally quite a cold east direction. And then another 16 with a ridge to the east, a trough to the west, and that's going to be mild and bring the wind up from a southwesterly or southerly direction. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 22nd of February. 24 members of the ECM ensemble look very unsettled with low pressure piling in from the Atlantic. 19, again, low pressure just out to our west. That looks unsettled too. And 8 with low pressure more towards Iceland and high pressure to our east. That's going to be quite mild, bring the wind up from the south. But could that be the start of another attempt to get a Scandinavian high going and go back, take it back to square one, flirting with a Scandinavian again. We'll see. Right, okay, well, CFS V2, and then we're done. These are 500 millibar high times, break it down into weekly pairs. The first week pair takes from the 11th, 17th of February. Actually, not be quite done after CFS. Going to have a look at the strap very quickly. Now, week 1, anyway, is the 11th, 17th of February. High pressure blocking towards Greenland, Iceland. Winds still coming in generally from quite a chilly easterly direction, but it's not a beast. It's not a beastly easterly. So very toned down easterly. Now, week 2 is the 18th, 24th of February. Low pressure bed in the Atlantic. Bring the wind around to more of a southerly southwesterly, so that's milder, but also turning more unsettled. Week 3 will be the 25th of February to the 3rd of March. Low pressure out in the Atlantic, looking very unsettled with spells of rain. And then week 4 is the 4th to the 10th of March. This looks like a very unsettled start to March, actually. Deep low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic there. Plenty of wet and windy weather on the way for the beginning of meteorological spring, if that's right. Right, okay, so let's very quickly just go to, yeah, that's right. Let's very quickly just go to Metro CLM and have a look at the strat data. So this is how we currently look in terms of stratospheric temperatures at 10 HPA over the Arctic and North Pole. Displacement event has taken place as the blue colours are pushed out in towards Northern Europe and the North Atlantic as there. Modest warming has occurred from Siberia and pushed in towards the polar region. That's not going to do very much over the next week or so, and the polar vortex or stratospheric polar vortex will gradually start to return back to its more typical position. However, check out what happens in the extended with this GFS 6 So yes, another significant warming begins to develop there through the Atlantic, focused on Greenland, interestingly. And we get a split of the stratospheric polar vortex there by the 26th of February. We've got two lobes of blue, one going off into Canada and North America, another sinking down in towards Russia. In between, we got this very, very significant warming of the stratosphere. I reckon that would be a sudden stratospheric warming event. I think that split would lead to a reversal of zone winds at 10 HPA, which 60 degrees north, which of course would be a technical sudden stratospheric warming event. We're going to do Strat Watch tomorrow, episode 11, I think it is, a Strat Watch tomorrow. We'll bring you up to date with all things stratosphere-wise. So, going to be an interesting video released at midday tomorrow. Just say that if you enjoy the content on the channel at the moment, the videos, live streams, etc., etc., then please can you consider giving a little donation to GavsWeatherVids and myself on our PayPal page. Link is in the description. Just sign into your PayPal account, and then, you can donate whatever you want to GavsWeatherVids, and we'll give you a shout out in the videos. And thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. And we're done. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. So tomorrow, we're going to have a 6 a.m. UK weather forecast, episode 11 of Strat Watch. And then we are live at 6 p.m. We attain a 14-day. I think it'll be another interesting stream. So I shall see you live on the channel at 6 o'clock tomorrow if you're around. But for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.